Um, this power module, not power module, this emulator module, which emulates a regular Shark joystick, will start and stop, will turn on and turn off that Storm Arrow brushless. They call them, Invocator call them GB motors, gearless brushless motors. Originally I just had this wired in with I opened up that, and inside there I just tapped the wires and I drilled a little hole, and that's how I originally tapped into the Shark bus. I've since cut one end off the Shark bus cable, and I've got the long bit going all the way around, and it just plugs in regular like there to the Shark power module. So you can see there, maybe, there we go. All right, so you got Shark bus high, Shark bus low, which is the yellow and the little purple wires on the right hand side. Then you've got the power wires, black and red. These wires here and these wires underneath, they're paralleled up and heat shrunk, so they're actually in parallel, and the rest of the board's there. So that's what I did originally, and it's all powered by the remote control. I went and bought I bought a new one just in case, a new hand control. And while I was at it, I bought the this is actually an extension cable that goes inside the short. There's a 30 centimetre lead that comes with a lot of these that go from the power module to just outside the shroud of the wheelchair, but I lost mine, so this is a new one I bought. And one of the ideas was to have the female port the same as the original joystick down there where that plug is, or a short bit of lead, and that would have meant that this is my regular house power chair. It would have meant that you can just unplug that plug, which is joined to the remote. You could have just unplugged that and plug in the emulator board. So what I plan to do, I've just taken the kayak for a run yesterday down to the Broadwater and back. It went really, really, really well. It just no problems at all. That's the third run. There were problems the first two times, and I ironed them out, and so it works good now. And for those that haven't followed this before, the Shark, and this is a Shark joystick. There's a power module. That's under that chair, but there's different power modules under different chairs. I just happened, because I use them, I happen to have Shark power modules on all my chairs. And so when you push the on button on the power chair, it switches on, and then it goes through a few seconds where it does a self check, So that's these lights go all the way to on, and then it works. If you operate this at that time, it gives an error and it waits until it goes back to 0 before it works. The code on this does the same thing. So you turn the remote on, so it's on there. Now the little, that's the receiver. That's the receiver there. And it's solid because it's got a connection with that now. And there's only one LED there. And I press the button and now the second one comes on. And you can hear the power chair activating and deactivating. And if I scoot myself back on the ground a little bit, I'll be able to drive it forward and drive it back. Okay. So it's interfaced there on the board from a cable I've now cut up, but originally I just ran some extension wires and ran this in parallel with the other ones while I had the other boards, because there's a few videos of the earlier boards where I'm using a Nintendo Wii instead of this, which is different code of course. So this has also got a fail-safe. So if I switch this off, so you saw that LED there blink once and then go off, and this is blinked as well. So that's part of the code that says if this is lost a signal, it just stops the chair, it just shuts it down. So if I turn it back on again, turn the remote back on again, that stops blinking. If I press, at the moment this is hooked up to press button 3. So if I press button 3, let's see if I can get this to focus. Alright, you can see the top LED there is off. And then I press the button, comes on, and then the chair starts clicking away. The reason it's clicking away is because the board rate, the board rate between that and the board on my particular remote gives a slightly glitchy read rate, which we've tried to fix with code and storing some in memory, but it still goes a bit weird sometimes. So I've got some other little videos of how it works further than that. All right, so that's the top of the board, and I can't show you the bottom at the moment because it's plugged in. That's about the only downside of this at the moment. The way it's wired up, which is, you know, snaking through the power module for this one's actually under here. So that's the only downside of this at the moment, is it runs the whole time while the chair's sitting, which could be, you know, months or a year. But that's no different to these power modules, which are also got power to them the whole time. They're just dormant. And the same with the power, sorry, this is the Shark Remote, SR. That's the power module, and the same thing, it runs all the time too, which is why when you leave the chairs for a long time, you come back and the batteries are flat, and you're like, what's happened? It was turned off. That's why it goes flat. So that's why you've got to keep these things topped up pretty regularly. They don't consume a lot of power, but it does over a period of time. So hopefully that's answered some, I'll just turn this off. So hopefully that's answered some questions. Yeah. hopefully that's answered some questions. I don't know. I've got other things I'm working on at the moment too. Remote control lawnmowers. I had a lawnmower. It's up there, up the top. That truck, and that's the replacement shell for it because the diff and some other parts went on that one, so I'm replacing that. So the next part of the evolution of this, because this chair has only got 40 or 50 amp hour batteries in it, that and the gearboxes on this are just about clapped out because it's so old. They still work, but I'm asking them to do a lot, pulling that kayak, which is quite heavy. So this is the next evolution. Get that Storm Arrow going. Replace that remote up there with that thing. It takes 73 or 80 amp hour batteries, plus it's brushless and gearless, so it'll pull me to the boat ramp. And you won't have that range anxiety thing, which I had quite a lot of because I went out at night the other night, which is a bit dumb, but it was a nice night. Anyway, totally normal. Hope that answered your question. If it hasn't, please let me know. The SD card the programming stuff you sent me was actually for that one. And I haven't used it yet because I found out that turns it on and off. And it's supposed to take one of those too. Anyway, bye from the Gold Coast.